Hurricane season in Scotland seems to be over for another year, so today we're going to be taking... Did you hear that? I'll be right back. Oh yes, we have a package. And if this is what I think it is... Oh, shiny. What else is this? Oh, a case. Right, so this... That's everything. This is the new ASUS ZenFone 5. Midnight Blue, 4GB RAM, 64GB storage. Rhino shield case, carbon fiber look. This is really cool, but I'm a little bit disappointed. Normally when ASUS send me a package, there's sweets in it. There's no sweets. So this is the ZenFone 5. We're gonna open this up. Where's my knife? And see what's inside. Well, I mean, obviously we know what's inside. It's a phone that's inside. We have another box and ZenFone 5. My precious. We'll undo that. Ooh. Back's nice and shiny like my ZenFone 4. So here we have this. Let me take this case off. So this is the ZenFone 4 that I've been using since about December, and this is the 5. So you can see, well, they both have that nice shiny cool looking back, but size wise they're actually pretty much identical. I thought that, well, it's a hair smaller, maybe half a millimeter narrower, but it's a good 2 or 3 millimeters shorter. On the front you can see they look pretty similar. The only differences are the camera's finally moved in the middle rather than off to the side, and the buttons disappeared. On the back, oh, I've got fingerprints on it already. On the back, camera positions move slightly. Haven't gone with the triple cameras that seems to be getting popular these days. But I think I need to plug this into charge and then we'll set it up.
3 hours later.
In the interest of full disclosure, yes, I'm an ASUS brand ambassador. Yes, ASUS sent me this phone. No, they did not pay me any money to make this video. They don't even know I'm making this video. My only goal with this video is to show you what apps I install on my phone to help me with photography. So this is my ASUS ZenFone 4. This is the phone I've been using for about the past 7 months or so. But now the ZenFone 5's out and I haven't even turned this on yet. It has fully charged. So we're going to hold down the power switch. Everything's coming up ZenFone. Oh, here we go, just a sec. Oh, look at that display. When that lights up compared to this, so you can see the size difference there between the two displays. Yes, it has the notch, stop moaning. The button is not here, I didn't mention this before. The button's on the back and it's your fingerprint scanner there. And that's gonna take some getting used to, because I'm used to just, you know, sitting there on the couch watching TV, reaching over to my phone, hitting the button, unlocking it, and you know, whereas with this, I'm gonna have to actually pick it up and hit the button, and yeah, maybe that's just me. So we will go English, UK, internet connection via mobile network or Wi-Fi. I don't have a SIM in it yet, but I'm going to choose both because I will put a SIM in it. Obtaining IP address. So set up new. And yeah, you're not going to see this. Product has been registered. Google Drive. Next. Next. Done.
The next morning.
It may have escaped your notice, but the observant ones amongst you will see that we've changed venue. I figured if I'm going to run you through the apps that I use for photography, I should probably come out and actually use it and walk you through them. So I've come out along the river, I've got my ZenFone with me, and we're going to start with the default camera app. So the default app that comes with the ZenFone 5 is actually really, really good. So was the app that came with the ZenFone 4, but they've tweaked things just slightly. You can see that in auto mode, it pretty much figures everything out for itself. I have turned the flash off, but you can see it wants to shoot an HDR shot. If I give it something that's too high contrast, the auto white balance isn't too bad. see it looks quite good, makes everything nice and green, and if I grab a shot, boom. It also has a wide camera with it, which lets you get a really, really tall scene or a really, really wide scene, and you can see that it takes up the full width of the phone. So there is a big difference in the field of view between the two cameras. What's really cool is that it has a pro mode, but what I don't like about it is that you have to manually go into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that default behavior. So I'm going to get rid of this, remove, and then we're going to go into here, and we're going to find the camera app. Where's the camera app? I'm going to go into the camera app, I'm going to go widgets, one by one, drag it back in that corner, and it's going to ask me which one I want to use, so I'm going to go Pro by default. So now when I load up the camera app, you can see it comes up with Pro by default. I see all my exposure information down the side. So this is the horizon indicator. With the ZenFone 4, I kind of felt like I was a little bit like a fighter pilot the way it was designed, but with this one it's a little bit less intimidating. We've got the dot in the center for our pitch, and then we have the two on the outside for our roll. You can see we've got our exposure information along the bottom there. We can override the white balance, so we'll whack it on 55. If we're using automatic exposure modes, we can over or underexpose what the camera's meter tells us, or we can just go fully auto, so we can go ISO 200, shutter speed of whatever we want, really, to get everything exposed. So one of the other things that I really like to do with my phones, because I'm not a fan of editing on the phone itself, is I'll go into the settings and I'll switch the camera resolution over to RAW plus JPEG. I mean, you can do some pretty amazing things with phones and editing on your phones now. I mean, and I've got Snapseed, so I can go and edit my pictures. I'm just not a big fan of editing on my phone. I prefer to do it on my desktop, and that's what Resilio Sync's for, which we'll get back to later. But I like to shoot RAW plus JPEG so I can edit them on the desktop. The great thing about doing it that way for social media is that now Instagram's licensed a whole bunch of places like Hootsuite and Later to let you schedule your posts. So if I go out and shoot a bunch of pictures in a day, I can take them home, process them on the desktop, and then just batch schedule, 2 or 3 weeks worth of images in a couple of hours, which makes life very, very easy. I think that's everything for the default camera app. For video, I use Filmic Pro. I've been using Filmic Pro for years, since its very, very early days, and it is a fantastic app. I don't know if yes, I do have the color. So I can go through and change my white balance, knock it over to daylight, I can change my exposure points, I can change my focus points. Yeah, I mean, it's Filmic Pro, what needs to be said? If you shoot a lot of video, it's probably worth paying for. If you don't, then maybe not. Maybe just stick with the app that comes with the operating system. Also on here, we got the Hyperlapse app, which is from Microsoft, and I found this to be the best of the phone hyperlapse apps. I don't do hyperlapses often on my phone. I prefer to use a DSLR on the Crane 2. We've got Framelapse, which basically does the same thing, it's just by a different company. So one of the apps that I use a lot for scheduling shoots is an app called Trello. I also use this for doing all kinds of video content, written content, reviews and that kind of thing, because it lets me keep everything organized in one place, and I can access it from anywhere, from a phone, from a tablet, from my desktop, from a laptop. I can't show you because I haven't put a SIM in this phone yet, and I haven't synced it up to my Trello database. But yeah, it's really, really good. You should check it out. They have a free account. AccuWeather's another one that I use all the time for planning shoots. Network error, like I said, no SIM card. So this will let me check on the weather. I mean, there's a lot of weather apps out there. Use whatever's your personal favorite. I found that for me, AccuWeather tends to be the most reliable for the kind of information I want. Now we're going to start getting onto actual photography apps rather than camera apps. And we've got Photo Pills, and this is one that everybody knows. You've got a planner that lets you see where everything's going to be throughout the day. We have the sun, which tells you when the sun's coming up, when golden hour starts, when sunset is, when blue hour is, and there's an augmented reality thing where, if I'm about a meter off the ground right now, and I hit OK, and go allow, it should, I think, oh yeah, there we go. So it tells me where in the sky the sun is and where it's going to be throughout the day. So if I want to shoot here and I want to get a nice backlit shot down the river, according to this app, I need to show up at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I guess I'm not getting that photo. Same thing for the moon. If you point it straight down, it'll actually give you a compass to tell you what direction's what. So we also have an exposure calculator, and this is probably the main reason that I use this app other than the sun AR thing. If I want to shoot a long exposure of this water, which isn't something I typically do, but it has been known to happen, I do own some NDs. You know, if I know that I come up here and I'm shooting F8 at ISO 100 and it's gonna be 100 at 16, so it's 200 at 11 and 400 at 8, so theoretically bright sunshine, that could give me a good exposure. But if I know I want to do a shot that's like 10 seconds long, I know I'm gonna need 10 stops of ND gives me 1.3 seconds, 12 stops give me 5 seconds, 13 stops 10 seconds. So this lets me know exactly how many stops of ND I need to get the shutter speed I want. The next 5 apps, the MyOps Mobile, ZY Play, U360, Mirrorless and Action, are all apps that talk to various hardware. And I keep these on my phone even if I'm not using them regularly because they're always handy to have. You know, chances are the one time you need it, you're going to be there with your device, you're not going to have a signal, you're not going to be able to get the app. And most of them don't take up a lot of space and they're actually really kind of useful. So on this tab, we've pretty much gone through everything. There's only a couple more apps. I really, like I said, I don't really use a lot. For me, it's a tool. I don't load it up with stuff that I don't need. I only install what I use. So we've got Snapseed that I've mentioned before. We've got all the social media apps. We've got Resilio Sync, which is kind of going to justify a whole video on its own. Actually, both of these will. We've got qDslrDashboard as well, which is also probably going to need its own video to fully explain it. But I'll go through both of them real quick. Resilio Sync works kind of like Dropbox, but without any servers. So whenever I want to take a photo and transfer it to my computer, this automatically monitors my camera roll and sends it straight back to my computer at home. If I've got it configured to use cell data, then it will just send it. If I have it set to use only Wi-Fi, then as soon as I get home or any Wi-Fi connection, it'll just connect to my computer and just start transferring before I've even put the kettle on. And then the other app is qDslrDashboard, and this, I can't really do anything because the only camera I've got that I can connect it to I'm using right now, but essentially it offers full remote control over Nikon and Canon DSLRs, and I believe there is some kind of Sony compatibility, which allows you to basically change all your settings. You can get false color for your exposure, it's got focus peaking, you can zoom right in at 100% detail. It's not like the fake zoom in like you usually see on your preview, on your live view. You know, one of the things that I often use this for, especially if I'm shooting with multiple cameras, is that it allows me to monitor several cameras at once. So if I'm recording an interview and I've got one camera right in front of me and another camera over there and another camera over there, I can have my one camera and a tablet or a phone on either side of it and monitor exactly what the other two cameras are seeing. So if the focus is a little bit off, I can say hold up, adjust the focus, okay, carry on. It's free for every platform except iOS and Android, but it's not that expensive. It's well worth getting if you need to remotely control cameras regularly. I've been using it for years and it's brilliant. So that's basically it. That's pretty much all the apps that I use on my phone. No doubt I will install more over the coming weeks and months, but these are the bare basics. I mean, I've got a lot more on my old phone, but half of them I don't even use, which is why I didn't just transfer everything from the old phone to the new one. I wanted to get things right down to what I actually use, optimize my storage. But now I'm gonna go and shoot some photos with it and see how it is. So that's the ASUS ZenFone 5 all set up for now and living inside its new Rhino Shield solid suit case. I still have to profile the camera and set up Resilio Sync, and those will be coming in future videos. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you want to see more. And if there's any Android apps that you use to help you with your photography that you think I should check out, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.